How to learn volleyball in the best way. Are you looking for a sport that requires a positive team relationship, builds good communication skills, increases upper body strength and delivers an unlawful amount of fun? This video will teach you the basics of how to play volleyball. At the end, you'll be ready to set, serve and spike. To play the game, firstly choose your players. Ideally, you want at least 6 players per team for a competitive game. You should have 2 rows of players, with the first row closest to the net and the back row closest to the rear boundary of the court. The player in the back right corner will serve the ball. You can rotate players around the court so that you will have a new server for each service game. Determine which team will serve the ball first. Toss a coin or form an agreement to find out who will begin the game. Serve the ball from behind the line at the back of the court. If you serve from in front of the line, it will be a point for the other team. This is known as a foot fault. The ball has to go over the net, but it can touch, and it has to land within the court for the serve to be good. Return the ball if you're on the receiving team. Thus the rally has begun. A typical play will be bump, set, spike, but as long as it goes over within 3 hits, it's good. Continue hitting the ball back and forth across the net until a fault happens. This could be because of any one of the following. The ball hits the ground. This can cause the serving team to score 1 point for their team. The ball goes out of bounds. The team that hits the ball out of bounds loses the point. Someone touches the net. If a player on one team touches the net, then the opposing team picks up a point. Someone's foot goes under the net. When this happens, the opposing team receives the point. Someone hits the ball 2 consecutive times. Players can't strike the ball twice in a row, unless a strike is in the block. A block does not count as a touch. A team hits the ball 4 or more times without sending it over. 3 is the maximum. Catching the ball without bumping it on the acceptance from play. Letting the recipient team receive the ball bump from anything besides their arms or hands can cause the serving team to pick up a point. Returning the ball without allowing the ball to cross over the top of the net will score 1 point for the serving team. Serve the ball again. The team that won the last point gets to serve the ball. If you're rotating, rotate now. Teams who produce an error or send the ball out of play will automatically send the ball over to the other team to serve. No extra score must be added to the new serving team. No penalty may be given in any situation where the ball touches the net then goes over to the other side to be played. The ball continues to be live and playable, unless it comes back towards the recipient team on the volley. Continue playing until you reach a threshold. You can decide how many points you will allow for each game. For instance, you can start a new game when a team earns 15 points. Learning the shots. Learn the basic stance. When you're not serving, it's common to take on a basic volleyball stance. Your feet should be placed slightly wider than your shoulders, your weight should be forward on your toes, and your knees bent. Make sure your hands are palms up and resting comfortably on your knees. Practice your serve. A basic serve gets the ball over the net and into the other court to start the rally. This can be done anywhere behind the serve line. A serve that immediately scores a point, only touches the server's hands, is referred to as an ace. Most commonly, this is done by hand, fist or arm. Bump the ball. This is the most commonly used shot for returning a serve. Ideally, you would pass it to the setter on the team. The bump is the first in a 3-move play. Make a fist with your left hand and wrap your right hand around it. Both thumbs should be flat against the top of your hands with your thumbnail facing upward. Rotate your elbows until the flat side of your forearm is facing upward. Your arms should be straight out in front of you at a slightly downward angle, and your elbows should be locked. Move so that the ball is directly in front of you. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart and wait until the ball is at the same level as your waist. Allow the ball to strike your forearms about 2 to 6 inches, 5 to 15 centimeters, above your wrists. When the ball makes contact with your forearms, push up with your legs and angle your platform toward your target. Practice setting. Typically, you will not set the ball on the return of serve. Instead, you will use the set to get the ball into the air so that another player can bump it or spike it. Know how to spike. This is also known as the attack. Approach the ball and lift your dominant hand. Your hand should be curved into the shape of the ball, and your elbow should be bent. Jump up and strike the ball with your palm. Reach as high as you can for maximum power. The ball should travel over the net but sharply downward so that it is difficult for the other team to return it. Be ready to block. For the 3 players at the net, this is used to stop an attack or spike. There are 2 types of blocks. An offensive block aims to keep the ball on the opponent's side of the court. The timing must be exactly right to jump up, predict the trajectory of the ball, and slam it back onto the opponent's side. Ideally, it sends the ball straight to the floor. A defensive, or soft, block is used just to stop the power behind the ball to make it easier to send back. The ball hits the blocker's palm, rolls along their fingertips, losing power, and is received by another player. Dig. This is mainly a term for a dive, a spectacular play where the player saves the ball right before it hits the ground. It involves a great level of reflex and agility. In diving, players land on their chests with their arms stretched out. It is very important to do this safely as injury is likely if done wrong. Seasoned players employ a rolling technique to minimize the risk of injury. Employing strategy. Have designated setters. Setting is a definite skill and maintains the offensive for the team. They must be able to operate in tandem with the hitters and place the ball exactly where it needs to be for the attacker to strike the ball effectively. Use a libero. If you're getting up there in skill, using a libero may be a strategy your team wants to employ. This is not counted as a substitution. This player wears a different color. This player receives the attack or serve and must have cat-like reflexes. They are a defensive specialist. They usually replace the middle blocker or center when they are supposed to rotate into the back row. If you have a player that is great at receiving attacks, put him in as the libero. Employ middle, opposite and outside hitters. Each designation of hitter has their strong points. Look at your team and see who falls into what category. Middle hitters must perform fast attacks and be decent blockers. They are playing offense and defense constantly. Opposite hitters, or right side hitters, are a backup setter and primarily work on defense. They must provide a good block at all times because they are essentially blocking the opposing team's outside, or strong side, hitter. Outside hitters should be the most consistent hitter on the team as that's generally where all the serves go. They are also often employed if a first pass goes astray from the middle. Substitute players. Though some leagues will allow unlimited substitutions, international rules say that you can have a maximum of 6, not including the libero. Consider different formations. We'll be assuming you're working with 6 players here. If you're not, adapt your number of players and their skills to other various formations. However, with 6, there are generally 3 to choose from. The numbers refer to positions, not to number of players. 4-2 formation. This has 4 hitters and 2 setters. Generally speaking, the setters position themselves on the right. They are the 2 front attackers. This is generally only used in beginners play. 6-2 formation. This is where a player comes up from the back and acts as a setter. The front row is all poised to attack. All players will be hitters at some point or another. 5-1 formation. This has only one player as a setter, regardless of where they are positioned in the rotation. Obviously then, there are sometimes 2 and sometimes 3 attackers in the front row. The setter can then change up their strategy as they rotate and even just dump the ball lightly over the net at times. It's very setter-centric. Always try to pay attention. The ball could come at you at any time. Be prepared and stay on your guard. Now, you understand all the basic rules for volleyball. Thanks for watching.